Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Walgreens exclusive Iron Man 2020. Here we have Iron Man displayed in the front window along with all of the accessories. Down at the bottom we get that Iron Man 2020 logo. On the side we get some very cool artwork there of Iron Man 2020 blasting off, arms stretched out reaching towards us. That's really good looking artwork, and that is going to be the same on both sides. On the back, we get a product shot, and then we do have a very brief read-up. Arno Stark wields powerful weapons and a superior armor suit as Iron Man 2020. And down at the bottom, we do have the UPC code, so you can check with your local Walgreens to see if they got this in stock. But enough about that. Let's get this open and take a look at Iron Man 2020. And here is Iron Man 2020 outside of his packaging, and just to get it out of the way, I did actually find this at a Walgreens store here in Michigan. So it is released, he is shipped, he is out there in the wild, so best of luck to you to find him. If you pre-ordered him, I think it was a late June release, so I canceled my pre-order because of the fact that I was able to find him today on just a random hunting trip. So he is out there. Now back to the figure, very cool looking. I really like the design. I actually didn't know much about Iron Man 2020, and I kind of looked into it, and it seems like an interesting character. And a lot of people would say we're only getting this figure because it is the year 2020, and I'm sure that's halfway true. But also there is a new story arc coming out, or might even be out right now with Marvel, where there is quite a bit of a Iron Man 2020 revival, so to speak, where there's a new event going on. So there's some comic book relevance right now as to why this figure is being released. I'm sure that comic book came out because it's 2020 though. But a very interesting take on the Iron Man armor. Very cool looking, very unique. I do like it a lot. We do get a lot of very cool accessories with this figure, starting with a pair of fisted hands, and then we get a pair of blaster hands that unfortunately don't have a hinge on them. And then we get the standard Iron Man blast effect for those blaster hands. And then probably the most notable accessories are these blast off effects. So we have these larger flames that are going to pour into the bottoms of the feet, and then those are going to fit into these two pieces on the ground, giving the illusion that he is taking off. And then if you notice, you have two little notches on these ground pieces, and at first I was trying to figure out what they would be used for, and it looks like they interlock with each other to give you a more stable base to have it on. So if you're wondering, that's what it's there for. Now in standing straight up, this figure is coming in at about 6.5 inches tall, which makes him about 16.5 centimeters, so he's a good height. But since he doesn't come with any Build-A-Figure piece, and we've already looked at the other accessories, let's go ahead and just jump in here, and we're going to get a better look at those blast-off effects, because I feel like we need to. And then we're going to get a better look at Iron Man 2020. And real quick, I did just want to look at these blast pieces again. So starting first with this piece here, very cool. Looks like it's just a big chunk of flame. And then we do see the peg in the back. And then we have a large flat surface there, which is meant to be at the front of the foot, just to give you a bit more surface area and stability when porting it in. And then this piece here, I like how this came out too. Very nice effect for the flames. I do wish that this had more paint down here, because you can see just by the sculpt that this looks like it's meant to be more smoke than it is fire. Thankfully, in the War Machine figure coming out, it's using this same effect, and we can see that that one does have some paint on this to simulate the smoke instead of it just being a big flame piece. But this still works, and I think it looks very cool. So I like that we're going to start seeing this, hopefully in more Iron Man and maybe even deluxe figures. Now, getting to the star of the show, though, here, very menacing look for Iron Man 2020. I love that we can see the eyes through this helmet. Very much want a Tony figure or a regular Iron Man figure with his eyes looking through, but we can see that they're look pretty exaggerated. Like, those eyes look huge, but I still think it's very cool, very menacing looking. That mouth, very much reminiscent of like Doctor Doom, and then the furrowed brows. I like that. Yeah, very well done mask there. And then looking at the rest of the figure, Iron Man 2020's main look here, of course, being all these gears and everything, and they did that pretty decently, actually. It's just a little effects piece. It doesn't go around the back. It is quite flexible. I mean, if you wanted to, you could actually take it off, and you can see like the normal arc reactor underneath there. But still, I think it works well, and I'm glad that it is a softer material that has some flexibility to it, so that way we don't get anything impeding with the sculpt work for posing and things like that. But looking up close here too, you can see some of that shimmering in there, so we get that metallic look here on the red, which I don't really see any marbling, so that came out good. And then same thing on the gold. Very shiny, very metallic looking. I really like how that came out. One thing I do want to point out with this hand, very loose. In fact, when I was putting the blast piece in there, it kept wanting to slide around. It seems like it might be getting a little bit more stiff, but I'll probably have to do some floor polish in there to help get that joint to hold up. Just that way he doesn't end up having his blast piece weighing it down. Looking at the belt here, very cool looking design there, a lot of circuitry and stuff. Almost looks like there's some red in there. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but still very cool looking. And we get more gear here on the side, and then this thing here. And I will admit, I don't know much about Iron Man 2020. I'm going to read, he's got a trade paperback that I'm going to read and get caught up. I don't like that mold line there. It's not as prominent on this side when looking at it in person, but yeah, that mold line being in the front's not great. But the rest of the sculpt looks pretty good. I mean, like I said, it's an Iron Man figure. I do like the dark red, too. I should mention that. That's very cool looking. And then I had another nick somewhere. Maybe it was just those. Oh, right there. Yeah, I don't think that's from posing. I think it just came out of the package with a little mark on it, but not too bad. But all in all, very cool looking figure. I really like this sort of evil Iron Man look here, and it turned out really good. Now, looking at the articulation, you have a head that can go all the way around. Look down about that far. Look up actually quite a ways. You have arms that can come up a little past 90 there. Full rotation. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, and then you do have rotation and hinge on the fists, but you have no hinge on these blast hands. And then looking at ab crunch, not bad. Backwards, quite a bit further, and not too bad with a gap there. You do have a waist rotation. You have legs that can come apart quite a ways. This belt doesn't impede it at all. That's a nice flexible piece, so no problems there. Can kick forward, not bad. Backwards, not much at all. Upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, you have a boot cut, and then you have a hinge and ankle pivot. And that about does it for this review, everyone. So overall, I could certainly see a lot of people passing on this figure simply because the character is not as well known. But with the recent Marvel Iron Man 2020 event, it's very possible that this character is going to be seen a lot more here in the next few months at least. So it could be a cool setup for some of those scenes from that storyline. In addition, he does have a history with some other Marvel characters, most notably Machine Man, which I believe is where his first appearance was, and that finally gives me someone to pose with Machine Man, because I haven't really known what to do with him ever since I've had that figure for, 5 years now that Legend's been out. But anyway, I think it's a cool-looking figure. It's at least well-executed, and it didn't have to go too over the top to change the look of Iron Man. Different head, these two pieces here with the shoulders of the belt, and a little darker color, and there you go. You got Iron Man 2020. So I do like this figure, and I think it's worth picking up. And like I said, with that event going on with Iron Man 2020, you never know. He might be a breakthrough character for the year. You might kick yourself if you don't get it. So I think it's worth getting. Anyway, with that being said, that is it for this review. Make sure to hit that thumbs up if you like it. Make sure to subscribe for more content just like this. And as always, thanks for watching my videos, and have a great day.